Chile is a country of extremes, where nature seems to test the limits of everything around it. Imagine a territory squeezed between the Pacific Ocean and the Andes Mountains, as if Chilean geography were a long column full of secrets and curiosities about countries. From north to south, this country reveals breathtaking scenery, where the driest desert in the world shares space with active volcanoes, and calm beaches meet seas prone to tsunamis. It is a land of unsettling beauty, which intrigues even the bravest of hearts. Now click like and subscribe to the channel. It will take a second, and it will help us a lot. But it's not just the landscape that Chile attracts attention. Its geographical location gives it a peculiar condition. It is the country most exposed to natural risks in all of Latin America. This is not an exaggeration. From devastating earthquakes to volcano eruptions, intense droughts, and the constant fear of tsunamis, Chileans live in a reality where nature does not ask for permission to show its strength. This scenario puts it in a unique position, with constant threats that challenge its population and culture. And what is it like to live in this unpredictable territory? For Chileans, each day is a lesson in adaptation, and each tremor or eruption reminds us that stability is always temporary. Unlike any other curious country we can think of, Chile teaches the importance of resilience and preparation. From an early age, children learn how to act in emergencies, a lesson that deeply marks the national character and makes Chile an example of coexistence with nature. And yet, Chile continues to enchant. This country of extreme contrasts has become a place where one learns from the land itself, as if it were a severe and, at the same time, fascinating teacher. Perhaps it is this combination of beauty and danger that makes Chile so irresistible for those seeking to understand the impact of nature on its people. And it is this journey that we will explore, delving into the subterranean forces that shape this nation. Chile rests on one of the most dramatic encounters on Earth, the Nazca Plate and the South American Plate. Imagine two gigantic forces that, when they meet, generate energy so intense that it transforms the Chilean soil into a field of constant instability. This underground clash is responsible for the almost incessant seismic activity, making Chile a country where the Earth never rests. And the curious thing is that few places in the world experience the same intensity. It's a true natural spectacle, with a high price. This constant friction between plates creates accumulated pressure under the Chilean soil, a pressure that, sooner or later, finds a way out, generating earthquakes and natural disasters with an impressive frequency. It is as if Chile is always on the verge of a violent awakening. No matter how much science explains the process, the feeling of uncertainty is inevitable. In this country of contrasts and curiosities about countries, even the ground beneath your feet holds a secret. For many, this reality seems scary, but for Chileans, it is part of the routine. Living in Chile means accepting that the soil is alive, in constant movement, and learning to read the signs of this impetuous nature. The proximity to the Nazca Plate is a constant reminder of the hidden force that acts beneath every mountain and every city. And this underground force raises a question. How does such a small country always manage to rise despite adversity? The answer lies in the Chileans' intimate relationship with the land. Over generations, they have learned to live with a soil that challenges but also teaches. In Chile, coexistence with danger translates into a unique resistance, a continuous learning of how to deal with forces beyond our control. And this learning extends to another equally impressive phenomenon that affects the country: the frequent earthquakes that mark its history. When talking about earthquakes, Chile is one of the first nations that comes to mind. And not without reason. This country records tremors like no other, and the intensity of some of them was enough to write its name in the history books. For Chileans, the ground vibrating beneath their feet is almost a familiar sound, a deep beat that reminds everyone of the strength of the earth. Here, the concept of stability takes on a new meaning, where constant movement becomes an impressive curiosity about countries. Chilean history is marked by devastating earthquakes, some so powerful that they shaped not only the geography, but also the culture and spirit of the people. And what would be just a tragedy in other places, in Chile, turned into a learning experience. Each major quake has brought advances in engineering, safety standards, and response systems. It is as if the country itself has learned to rebuild itself in a resilient cycle of destruction and rebirth. To understand the impact of these tremors, just look at the streets of Santiago and Valparaiso, where modern buildings are designed to dance with the earth rather than resist it. It is an almost poetic adaptation, a way of accepting that, to live in peace with the Chilean soil, it is necessary to embrace the movement. Few countries in the world understand as well as Chile that security is built on flexibility, on respect for nature and its power. But living with earthquakes also takes an emotional toll. Each tremor, however brief, reminds Chileans that nothing lasts forever. Culture adapts to this feeling of unpredictability, and people learn to value the present. And this feeling deepens even more when remembering the greatest of all earthquakes, Valdivia, which transformed Chile and its way of facing natural risk. The year was 1960, and the world watched in shock as Chile faced the largest earthquake in recorded history, the Valdivia earthquake. With devastating magnitude, it tore up the Chilean soil, left cities in ruins, and transformed the course of rivers. Chileans, accustomed to living with tremors, saw on that day the earth demonstrate its absolute power. This event marked a generation and became one of the biggest curiosities about countries around the globe. The destruction was just the beginning. Valdivia was not just a physical shock, but an emotional wound for the country. The economy, structures, and even people's confidence shook like falling buildings. It was as if Chile had been tested to the limit, and that test had lasting consequences. The need for reconstruction was swift, but the trauma of this event shaped Chileans' views of what it is like to live in such a vulnerable land. Over the years, the Valdivia earthquake has become a kind of grim reminder that despite advances and adaptations, there are forces beyond human control. Every conversation about the event is permeated with an almost reverent respect for nature. This respect has transformed Chile into one of the most advanced countries in terms of earthquake safety and preparedness. But still, Valdivia's emotional impact remains like a ghost in the memories of the families who lived that day. And this memory is not just a distant echo. It is a boost for young people who learn from an early age the importance of preparation and respect for nature. This legacy left by Valdivia is not something Chileans would easily forget, as it continues to shape the country's culture, security system, and collective consciousness. This profound impact also explains the constant fear of the sea, which often reacts to the movement of the land, causing tsunamis. In Chile, the sea is not just a natural beauty. He holds a strength that is feared and respected by all. With every tremor, there is the possibility that the waters of the Pacific Ocean will rise, turning tranquility into destruction. Tsunamis are a constant threat, and the waves that emerge after an earthquake can wipe out entire cities within minutes. For Chileans, living close to the sea means understanding this force and always respecting it, something that many consider a true curiosity of the country. Chilean history has scars left by tsunamis that devastated coastal cities. Each new tsunami warning is a grim reminder of these episodes. Cities like Talcahuano and Valparaiso have already seen the sea invade their streets, carrying with it debris and painful memories. But instead of running away from this reality, Chile invested in warning systems and education to prepare each citizen to deal with this threat. It's a lesson that shows how vulnerability can generate strength. When the sea is rough, the population already knows what to do. There is such deep-rooted preparation that even children learn from an early age to evacuate quickly and safely. Seeing Chile organizing itself in the face of the risk of a tsunami is observing a country that embraces its geography and uses its knowledge to protect lives. It's not just a matter of survival, but of knowing how to deal with a nature that can be as generous as it is merciless. The constant risk of tsunamis is part of Chilean identity, shaping the people's relationship with the sea. There is an implicit wisdom in those who live on the edge of this ocean, a respect that mixes with a constant sense of alertness. And if earthquakes and tsunamis already teach Chile a lot, there is still another natural force that marks this land, coming from the depths of the earth. Active volcanoes. Chile is home to one of the most active volcanic concentrations on the planet. There, in the middle of the Pacific Belt of Fire, imposing volcanoes such as Villarrica and Lima rest, waiting for the moment to expel their incalculable forces. These giants are part of the landscape, observed with admiration and caution. For Chileans, living among volcanoes is a constant reality, a country curiosity that few in the world experience. The earth beneath your feet can shake at any moment, and it is in this balance between beauty and danger that Chile lives. Volcanic activity is not a question of if, but of when. Chileans know the signs of a possible eruption and know how to respond to a raging volcano. Evacuations, alerts, and safety exercises are part of daily life in many communities near volcanoes. When Villarrica or another giant expels its ashes and washes, each citizen already has their role in organizing security. It's a dance with nature, where knowledge and preparation make all the difference. But these volcanoes don't just bring risk. They are also a source of life, with their ashes fertilizing the soil and boosting local agriculture. This creates a fascinating paradox. What can destroy also nourishes. In Chile, the relationship with volcanoes is marked by this duality, where danger and prosperity coexist. The communities around the volcanoes understand this, and this coexistence translates into a relationship of respect, almost like between two old acquaintances. The Chilean people know they live in a land where powerful forces rest beneath the surface. And with this awareness comes the wisdom of living in harmony with that which cannot be controlled. This harmony, however, is put to the test every time a volcano erupts, creating scenarios of destruction that challenge resilience. And if volcanoes bring with them fire and fury, other eruptions throughout history have shown that the impact can be as devastating as it is unpredictable. Volcanic eruptions in Chile are vivid reminders of a nature that knows no limits. Each eruption is an intense manifestation, which transforms tranquility into chaos. In moments like these, the heavens are covered in ash, and the earth vibrates with a primal force. The eruption of Chaitén, for example, in 2008, forced the evacuation of an entire city, leaving a deep mark on Chileans. This episode showed the world one of the most fascinating and frightening curiosities about countries: Chile's ability to deal with Earth's fire. The evacuation of Chaitén was an exercise in survival and organization. Men, women, children, and the elderly were hurriedly evacuated, carrying the essentials and leaving their homes behind amid the advance of lava and ash. The image of an abandoned city at the mercy of an active volcano is a reminder of the power that nature exerts over this land. But, at the same time, it reflects the courage of the Chilean people, who, when they left, knew that they would return to rebuild what was lost. These eruptions are not just catastrophes, they are also events that unite the country. Each eruption brings out the community spirit, where strangers help each other as if they were family. It is common for entire communities to work together, rebuilding schools, churches, and homes affected by the power of volcanoes. This union strengthens Chilean identity and reinforces collective learning about resilience, a trait that few countries know so well. Even in the face of destruction, there is something almost poetic about the way Chileans face the impact of eruptions. The earth may spit fire and turn villages into ashes, but the story doesn't stop there. The spirit of reconstruction continues like a flame that never goes out, lit in every Chilean who sees in the fertile lava soil a promise of rebirth. And amidst this intense relationship with the land, coexistence with the driest desert in the world also arises: the Atacama. The Atacama Desert is a living paradox. It seems like a place forgotten by time, where rain is a stranger that rarely visits. This arid soil, considered the driest in the world, is one of the great contrasts of Chile, which is home to so much diversity of scenery. The landscape of Atacama, with its endless dunes, white salt flats, and mountains in the distance, provokes a unique fascination. This curiosity about countries attracts scientists, adventurers, and restless minds trying to understand how life persists in such a hostile environment. And, interestingly, life persists. Rare plants, resilient animals, and even small human communities have found a way to survive, shaped by scarcity and constant challenge. Atacama teaches valuable lessons about resilience and adaptation. In this desert, water is a rare and precious resource, and every drop is worth gold. The people of Atacama have learned to live with aridity, creating ingenious ways of capturing and storing water, a practice that is more than simple survival. It is an art, a reverence for nature. The desert also holds mysterious secrets. Beneath its sands and rocks lie some of the oldest archaeological remains in the Americas, marks of civilizations that found a home there. Exploring Atacama is walking through the past, feeling the history embedded in the parched soil. For the curious, each step is a dive into layers of time, as if this forgotten place hides a deep knowledge. Anyone who visits the Atacama realizes that the desert, no matter how sterile it may seem, has a soul. This coexistence with drought transforms Chile's view of the value of water and the impact of climate change. Because, for them, aridity is not just a climatic condition. It is a reminder of the fragility of life and the need to respect natural resources. And, just as the lack of water challenges the Chilean people, another phenomenon appears as a threat on the horizon: climate change, which intensifies all these natural challenges. Climate change in Chile acts as an invisible accelerator, intensifying the natural challenges the country already faces. This global phenomenon affects the country in a unique way, making droughts even more severe, increasing the number of heat waves and generating sudden storms. The combination of these effects with Chilean geography creates a scenario of unpredictability. Each year brings a new climate reality, making Chile a true laboratory on the consequences of global warming. A curiosity about countries that few face with such intensity. As temperatures rise, melting glaciers in the Andes threaten water supplies, particularly affecting agricultural and urban regions. These glaciers are like natural reservoirs, and their gradual disappearance is a warning sign for the future. In dry areas, such as Atacama, water shortages become even more dramatic, while forested regions suffer from an increase in fires. For Chileans, climate change is not a theoretical issue. They are altering everyday life and requiring new forms of adaptation. Climate change also intensifies the impact of seismic and volcanic phenomena, as changes in atmospheric pressure and humidity affect tectonic plates. This is something that few imagine, but that Chilean scientists follow closely. Each new survey reveals that Chile is more exposed to natural events of great magnitude, generating an urgent need for sustainable policies and prevention actions. For the external public, this may be a country curiosity, but for Chileans, it is a question of survival. This pressure on natural resources reinforces the population's sense of urgency. Everyone feels the impact of climate change, from farmers to city dwellers, and everyone is looking for ways to reduce their individual impact. This awareness is becoming a hallmark of Chilean culture, where respect for nature and the search for sustainable solutions go hand in hand. But, in an increasingly hot and dry environment, the consequences also unfold in forest fires, which further challenge the resilience of these people. In Chile, forest fires have become a constant threat, worsened by drought and rising temperatures. In regions like Valparaiso, the intense heat, combined with dry vegetation, creates a favorable scenario for fires to spread without control. These fires are not just isolated flames. They are destructive forces that consume everything in their path, turning forests, houses, and even entire villages into ashes. It is a challenging reality that reveals the harsher side of this curiosity about countries. When fire breaks out, it's not just forests that suffer. The entire surrounding community is affected. People are hastily evacuated. Fire brigades work tirelessly to contain the flames, and the sky is covered by dense smoke that fills the air. It's an unequal fight against a merciless enemy. For Chileans, facing forest fires means resilience and constant preparation, as each summer brings the risk of a new disaster. It is a battle that requires courage and community organization. Fire response goes beyond brigades, involves the entire community. Chileans know that to protect their homes, they must take care of the surrounding forests. Education programs teach from an early age the importance of preserving vegetation and avoiding behaviors that could cause sparks. Every gesture counts, from cleaning the areas around houses to carrying out awareness campaigns. In Chile, preventing fires is a collective commitment that connects everyone in the search for preservation. However, even with all this preparation, the threat persists. Forest fires bring irreparable losses, but they also awaken a sense of unity and solidarity. It is a reminder that even when the fire ceases, nature continues its course and life is reborn. So, as Chile fights to keep its forests safe, it is also preparing to face another natural force that accompanies intense rains, floods, and landslides, which challenge mountainous regions and valleys. When intense rains fall over Chile, especially in mountainous areas, they bring with them an old fear, the risk of flooding and landslides. These waters, which are so desired in dry regions, can become an overwhelming threat. The rivers overflow, the slopes cannot withstand the pressure, and, suddenly, everything that seemed stable is swept away. It is a reality that few countries face with such frequency and intensity. A curiosity about Chile that reveals the uncontrollable power of nature. Floods can transform entire neighborhoods into scenes of destruction. Muddy waters invade homes, taking belongings and memories with them. In some areas, such as those near Santiago, families are evacuated, leaving behind everything they built. This is one of the biggest challenges for Chileans, who need to always be ready for an unpredictable scenario. Facing floods means learning to live with uncertainty, and always having a plan at hand to protect what is essential. Landslides are another silent danger, especially in mountainous regions where heavy rains destabilize the soil. Communities living in these areas know that an ordinary day can turn into a disaster in a matter of minutes. Retaining walls, planned drainage, and reforestation are some of the measures adopted, but nature has its own ways. Thus, Chileans learn that living in the mountains requires courage and constant preparation for the unexpected. This coexistence with the forces of rain and earth strengthens a feeling of unity in the affected communities. When a house is hit, neighbors mobilize to help, and solidarity takes shape in reconstruction actions. In Chile, Facing nature is a collective experience, a bond that is created between people who share the same mountains and valleys. And as the country deals with the force of the rain, a new concern is emerging just outside the capital, the San Ramon Fault, which poses an even closer threat. The San Ramon Fault is an almost invisible presence, but with immense potential to transform Santiago, the capital of Chile, into a scene of chaos. Located very close to the city, this geological fault represents a threat that many inhabitants are only superficially aware of. In a country already marked by seismic shocks, this curiosity about countries reveals an even greater risk, a breaking point that could change the lives of millions in an instant. The ground, quiet and stable at first glance, holds a latent force that no one can ignore. With advanced research and studies, scientists follow the movements of the San Ramon Fault, analyzing every detail that could indicate a future tremor. It's like trying to read the intentions of the Earth, trying to predict when and where it will decide to manifest itself. This constant monitoring is crucial for the preparation of the capital, as a shock in this area would have consequences not only for Santiago, but for the entire country. This scientific effort is an example of how Chile deals with natural challenges, using knowledge to anticipate what is beyond its control. For Chileans, the San Ramon Fault is an uncomfortable reality, a reminder that even the most modern urban center can be vulnerable. The residents of Santiago live knowing that the earth beneath their feet hides a disturbing secret. Construction is built to strict regulations, and evacuation plans are frequently discussed, but uncertainty is a constant companion. Living alongside such great risk, Chileans are forced to find a balance between their daily routine and preparing for the unpredictable. This relationship with the San Ramon Fault is yet another example of Chile's coexistence with natural phenomena. While people adapt and organize, the country continues to invest in technology and alert systems that increase security. And it is in this prevention effort that Chile also develops systems capable of warning about other disasters, such as earthquakes and tsunamis, reinforcing the protection of the population and trust in science. Chile, with its historical coexistence with natural disasters, transformed necessity into innovation. The warning systems installed in the country are true invisible guardians, ready to warn about earthquakes, tsunamis, and other threats. This is one of the aspects that make Chile a curiosity among the most prepared countries in the world, a reference for nations facing similar challenges. With advanced technologies and monitoring networks, the country is trying to do the impossible: predict and prevent what, for many, is unpredictable. These systems not only alert the population, but also guide coordinated actions in the event of an emergency. The warning sirens, which sound in several coastal cities, serve as a call to action for people to leave their homes and seek safe areas. It is a mechanism that saves lives, a clear example of how technology can be an ally of human resilience. For many Chileans, hearing these sirens means safety, a sign that science is on their side in facing nature. The effectiveness of these systems depends not only on technology, but also on the population's quick and organized response. Simulations and training are carried out regularly, teaching children and adults how to react calmly and efficiently. In Chile, everyone knows what to do when faced with an alert. It's as if the entire population had rehearsed for these moments, transforming fear into preparation. This discipline is a lesson that few countries have been able to apply so successfully. But the fight for security doesn't stop there. Chile is constantly investing in new technologies and international partnerships to further improve its warning systems. Protecting lives is a priority, and this commitment is reflected in the confidence with which Chileans face the unpredictable. And while these systems protect the population, the resilient spirit of Chileans strengthens a union that goes beyond technology. It is a human strength, present in solidarity, and the ability to support each other in difficult times. Resilience is a striking trait of the Chilean people, forged in the midst of natural disasters that challenge even the bravest of hearts. For them, living with the constant threat of nature has become more than a reality. It's a life lesson. Every earthquake, every eruption, and every storm teaches something new. This internal strength and ability to adapt is something that arouses curiosity about countries like Chile, where the daily struggle against the unpredictability of nature shapes the national character. This preparation starts early. In schools, children learn how to act in an emergency, participating in simulations, and understanding the importance of every second in a risk situation. It is a lifelong discipline, creating a generation that respects and understands the environment in which they live. For Chileans, being resilient is not just knowing how to react, it is a way of honoring our own history and the efforts of those who rebuilt the country so many times. And this ability to overcome is reflected in the way Chileans support each other in times of crisis. When a disaster strikes a community, people from all regions mobilize to help, providing food, clothing, and shelter. There is a union that goes beyond geographic and social barriers, showing that, in difficult times, solidarity is the greatest refuge. For Chileans, each catastrophe reinforces the sense of community and the idea that no one faces nature alone. This resilience is not limited to facing disasters, but inspires an entire philosophy of life. It is a culture that values today, that builds with hope, and that is not afraid to start again. Thus, Chile teaches the world that true strength lies in knowing how to stand up, time and time again, with courage and dignity. And this lesson is taught not only at home, but also in schools and communities, where preparedness for natural disasters is taken seriously from an early age. In Chile, education about natural disasters starts from an early age, transforming children into little guardians of safety and resilience. In schools, lessons go beyond traditional subjects. There is a commitment to teaching each student how to act when faced with the phenomena that are part of Chilean life. From an early age, students participate in earthquake and tsunami drills, learning the value of staying calm and acting quickly. This preparation forms a conscious generation, ready to face the unpredictable. These programs not only teach you what to do, but also encourage you to create a respectful bond with nature. Children grow up understanding the power of volcanoes, tectonic plates, and storms, understanding that these elements are part of their country's identity. It's a curious country, where disaster education is taken as seriously as any other subject. Thus, each Chilean student becomes a knowledge multiplier, taking this preparation home and to the community. Communities also play an essential role. In neighborhoods, towns, and cities, it is common to see joint awareness campaigns and training where residents come together to learn how to protect themselves and help neighbors in times of crisis. This support network strengthens the bond between people and lets everyone know they are not alone. In Chile, security is a collective construction, a pact of solidarity that is renewed with each community activity. What Chile teaches the world is that preparedness is not just a protective measure, but a philosophy of life. Constant practice creates an instinct for quick reaction, confidence in one's own knowledge, and in the strength of the group. And with each simulation and learning, the country strengthens its defenses against disasters. But this preparation is also reflected in buildings and architecture, which are designed to withstand the impact of earthquakes. In Chile, architecture goes beyond aesthetics. It becomes a question of survival. Every building, every bridge, and every urban structure is designed to face the seismic shocks that are part of everyday life. It's a lesson learned with each devastating earthquake, where the country has evolved its construction techniques to create a safe and resilient urban space. This is a country curiosity that inspires respect. The ability to transform architecture into a shield, adapting to the force of nature. Construction techniques are rigorously improved. Flexible materials and deep foundations help buildings dance with earthquakes, absorbing the energy and reducing damage. In Chilean cities, seeing tall buildings sway during an earthquake may seem frightening, but this movement is intentional, designed to protect lives. This innovation in civil construction is a clear example of how science and experience have shaped Chile, a country where structural safety is a priority. This commitment to structural resilience goes beyond large cities. In smaller villages and communities, architecture follows strict standards, adapted to protect even the most humble dwellings. Each home is designed with the aim of withstanding seismic impact, minimizing risks to its inhabitants. In Chile, civil construction is a union between technique and wisdom, a reflection of a country that has learned to adapt without giving up its lifestyle. The evolution of Chilean construction is proof that, even in the face of a constant threat, it is possible to build a secure future. This commitment to resilient architecture is an example for the world, a lesson in how resilience can be applied to every brick and every wall. But the impact of natural disasters goes beyond buildings. It also affects the economy, creating unique challenges for the country's productive sectors. In Chile, each natural disaster leaves deep marks on the economy. Productive sectors such as agriculture, mining, and tourism suffer from the shocks of nature, needing to adapt and recover in the face of each event. An earthquake that destroys an urban area, or a tsunami that invades coastal regions, directly affects production and commerce, creating losses that go beyond material. This economic dependence on natural stability is a curiosity about countries that few understand, as well as Chile. Agriculture, in particular, faces challenges with climate change and the variability of water resources. Regions that depend on rivers and lakes for irrigation are impacted when an earthquake or landslide changes the flow of water. Furthermore, the scarcity of water in the Atacama Desert intensifies the difficulties for farmers, who are looking for alternatives to maintain production. In Chile, each harvest is a symbol of resilience, an attempt to overcome the obstacles imposed by geography. The mining sector, another economic pillar of the country, also suffers from natural disasters. Seismic instability can interrupt activities in mines, affecting not only production, but the safety of workers. In a copper-rich nation, mining is an essential activity, and each earthquake requires rigorous monitoring and contingency plans. Thus, Chile reinforces its security practices, ensuring that the sector continues to operate even in the face of risks. This resilient economy is a reflection of Chile's determination to overcome adversity. Even with constant challenges, Chile found ways to rebuild and strengthen itself with each new impact. However, for the economy to continue to grow, the reconstruction process must be quick and efficient, requiring the country to have strategies that minimize the effects of disasters and help in the recovery of affected regions. In Chile, reconstruction is a frequent and challenging reality. After each disaster, the country finds itself faced with the arduous process of rebuilding what was destroyed. Reconstruction goes beyond walls and buildings. It is an emotional and financial effort to restore people's lives. Every time the Chilean soil shakes, leaving trails of destruction, the opportunity also arises to give new meaning to these spaces, reinforcing them for the future. This ability to bounce back is, in itself, a curiosity about countries and the resilience of their people. The reconstruction process requires intense coordination between the government, private companies, and the population. In affected areas, teams of engineers, architects, and local workers come together to restore what was lost. It is a joint effort that combines technique with hope, and each brick placed seems to carry the desire for a new beginning. With each reconstruction, Chile not only restores what was damaged, but improves, reinforces, and adapts structures to withstand the next challenges. For many Chileans, rebuilding is a lesson in perseverance, where each sacrifice brings valuable learning. Families rebuild their homes with the help of neighbors and communities, showing a spirit of unity that transcends the material. In cities like Concepcion and Valparaiso, hit by earthquakes and tsunamis, reconstruction is also a renewal of community ties. Mutual support is a Chilean brand, a symbol of the strength found in the community. But reconstruction is also a reminder that the work is never complete. With each new disaster, Chile accumulates more experience and knowledge, becoming a model for other nations seeking to understand how to prepare and recover in the face of adversity. And in this context, the role of science is fundamental, as scientific advances and the constant study of natural patterns help the country to develop even more effective measures to mitigate risks. Science plays a crucial role in Chile, where the study of natural phenomena is a matter of survival. Scientists, geologists, and seismologists dedicate their lives to understanding seismic, volcanic, and climate patterns, seeking to predict what many consider unpredictable. This tireless work makes Chile a true laboratory for the study of nature, a curiosity about countries that face constant risks. On Chilean soil, science is not just knowledge, but an essential tool to protect lives. Research on tectonic plates, such as the Nazca Plate, helps to understand the behavior of earthquakes and the intensity of the tremors. This understanding is vital for creating evacuation strategies and developing even more resilient buildings. Furthermore, volcanoes are closely monitored, with systems that alert you to the slightest activity. Each scientific advance gives Chile an advantage in responding quickly, minimizing damage and preventing tragedies. Science also seeks solutions to the impacts of climate change, which worsen droughts, fires, and floods. Environmental studies offer sustainability alternatives, promoting the responsible use of natural resources. In the Atacama Desert, for example, research is exploring methods of capturing water to address scarcity. These advances show how science can not only predict disasters, but also create ways to live in harmony with the earth. For the Chilean people, trusting science is part of the culture. With each discovery and each new monitoring equipment, the feeling of security and hope grows. Chile shows the world that science is a powerful ally, transforming data into protection and knowledge into resilience. However, to face major challenges, international cooperation becomes an indispensable element, reinforcing joint work with other nations. To face nature's fury, Chile seeks support beyond its borders, establishing international partnerships that reinforce its disaster preparedness. With the help of other nations, Chile shares and receives essential knowledge, becoming more efficient in protecting its population. This is an inspiring example of how cooperation between countries can transform local challenges into global lessons. In Chile, each partnership is a curiosity about countries that, united, become stronger. International organizations such as the UN and the World Bank provide financial and technological assistance, helping to strengthen warning systems and prevention infrastructures. These collaborations allow Chile to implement cutting-edge technologies, such as advanced sensors, to monitor seismic and volcanic activity. These resources, often inaccessible to middle-income countries, become a reality through mutual support, creating a cycle of benefits that directly impacts Chilean security. In addition to technology, the exchange of knowledge is one of the greatest assets of this cooperation. Scientists and experts from different nations share experiences and new methodologies, contributing to the advancement of research on natural disasters. This joint learning not only protects Chile, but benefits countries around the world facing similar situations. science and experience come together, creating an international legacy of resilience and innovation. These partnerships demonstrate that security is a global effort. Each agreement, each shared study, and each new monitoring system installed is one more step in the fight against natural disasters. And, by working together with other nations, Chile prepares for a future where, even amid constant risks, hope and preparation go hand in hand. This look towards tomorrow is what keeps the country always attentive, seeking to be ready to face new challenges that may arise. Chile faces the future with a keen eye and continuous preparation. In a world where natural disasters are becoming increasingly intense, the country knows it must be ready to face new challenges. Climate change, increasing seismic activity, and the constant threat of volcanoes are just some of the forces shaping tomorrow's landscape. Chilean resilience is a curiosity about countries that teaches us the value of prevention, adaptation, and innovation. Science continues to advance, offering more accurate predictions and even more sophisticated warning systems. However, the issue goes beyond technology. It is about forming a culture of safety in every citizen. Chile invests in education so that each new generation understands the role of protecting its territory and communities. In a country where the ground can shake without warning, this preparation is essential. The Chilean future, therefore, is a balance between scientific knowledge and social awareness. The commitment to sustainability also becomes central. Climate change increases the risks, requiring Chile to pay close attention to the preservation of its natural resources. In areas like Atacama, sustainable water capture solutions are increasingly necessary. Furthermore, the country explores renewable energy sources such as solar and wind, seeking to reduce its vulnerability. The future is a collective construction where nature is respected and resources are cared for. Chile shows us that preparation is a constant, a process that is never completed. With each new security measure, the country becomes stronger to face the unknown. This mentality of prevention and adaptation is what sustains Chile in the face of an uncertain future. And, as the Chilean people continue to face and overcome challenges, they also inspire the world, offering an example of courage and determination. In the end, it is this spirit that defines what it means to live in a country of risks and hopes. Chile is a nation that challenges the limits of resilience, a land where danger and beauty go hand in hand. For Chileans, living under the constant threat of earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis is a reality that shapes the way they approach life. This country of contrasts, which arouses curiosity about countries around the world, reveals an unbreakable spirit, forged by the force of nature. Every day is a test of courage, an exercise in adaptation that only strengthens Chilean culture and identity. Over the years, natural disasters have left deep scars, but they have also taught valuable lessons. Every reconstruction, every warning system, and every advance in science reflects Chile's commitment to safety and prevention. It's not just a question of survival, it is a philosophy of life. This respect for the environment and this constant readiness are what make Chile an example of resilience, inspiring other nations to adopt similar practices. Chile also teaches us that, in the face of the uncontrollable, unity is the greatest strength of a people. The solidarity that emerges in times of crisis, the mutual support between neighbors, and the readiness to help are hallmarks that make Chile a land of bravery. Even when everything seems uncertain, Chileans rise again, finding in the collective the necessary strength to overcome adversity and look to the future with hope. This is the essence of Chile, a land that, despite the risks, continues to rise like a flame that never goes out. This resilient and indomitable spirit is a reminder that even in the most difficult situations, there is always a new chance to start again. And so, Chile moves forward, a nation marked by challenges but guided by the courage that defines its people and its history.
Hey explorers, if you love discovering the amazing curiosities and stories we share here on Exploring Nations, how about supporting the channel with just $1? This small gesture can make a big difference and is essential to keep this content going. Without your support, our journey might be cut short. And there's more. When you shop on Amazon, use our special link. It costs you nothing extra, plus you get an exclusive discount and it helps us out a lot. The links for donations and Amazon are pinned in the first comment. Don't let this adventure stop, we're counting on you. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and drop us a comment.